Fire, fire, super fire.
You know, if you haven't watched the previous 27 episodes,
You're
then
missing out. But you're in luck because here on episode 28 of the Block to Block podcast, the best podcast in the world for all things Web3, here we break down the technology, what's going on in the market, and the ways in which you can benefit. I am NFT and Jai.
and I am Web3 Wayne.
And over here, the talk is different.
Always different. and, and y'all know how different it is, especially if you've been tuning in. Shout out to our avid listeners, man. We appreciate all 30 of you. Y'all really y'all warm my souls, man. Y'all warm my souls. But it will be remiss if we didn't mention that if you lose your cheese or cheddar, mozzarella, provolone, that's on you because this podcast is for informational purposes only. We will not be responsible if you lose your cold, hard earned cash. Right? So we tell you at the beginning of every episode, please consult a financial advisor or any other financial professional that can help you make some real bread. But definitely introduce them to this podcast so they know the game. And with that, let's get it going. Let's talk
Man,
business.
super different, man. It's been a great week since we last met.
Eventful.
Very eventful,
Eventful.
man. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had our the last previous episode, we was able to speak with the good brothers Ando and Colin from
Yeah.
Happy. They're doing like great things in terms of the social media platform they're creating, using Web3 technology and just creating an immersive experience. So that was a fire.
Their own patented vivid technology.
Yeah,
Like, hey man, them brothers doing something big, man. They're doing something big. So it was a hey, they came and blessed us, man. We was over there chopping up the episode, just getting some clips, and we was like, ooh,
hmm
ooh,
I was
ooh.
really listening to it like it was the first time. So shout out to them.
Shout
But
out.
like that following day on Friday, we had our Investor Connect event. So it
Yes.
was a partnership, something we co-organized with Bison Venture Partners. Shout out to that team. Shout out to Gary. Shout out to B. Shout out to Alex. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
great team. Extremely great to work with. Very efficient team. Very
Absolutely.
fast moving. So that
Hey,
was.
shout out to the Howard MBAs as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they had a lot of MBA students come pull up on us, kick it with us. You know what I'm saying? Get some entrepreneurship game, which was dope as well. Like you said, man, BVP they were dope to work with. That was a great event. Seeing black people in a room on a Friday night to figure out how to get this money to get their businesses out the ground, and people that showed up had dope businesses, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dope,
And
dope
what
business.
was dope was it was wide arching too, right? So we had
Yeah,
one person who had a focus in real estate and had his own community development fund, CDFI fund. We had another person who worked at a bank who actually was gracious enough to sponsor the food for the event. So shout out there. Like she gave a lot of the dope game in terms of like small business financing. So you had like one side of the house that talked about like if you wanted to go the traditional business owner entrepreneurial lane, this is like the pathway in terms of getting capital for your business. Then you
yeah,
have the other side of the house in which we had two venture capitalists who talked about, hey, if you want to like start like a huge venture that could possibly have a huge exit in terms of getting acquired for tens of millions or billions or having an initial public offering on the stock
yeah,
market, this
yeah.
is the pathway. So as a listener or as a participant, you had the opportunity to like really discern which route you want to go when it comes to your venture. So it was really dope.
For sure, for sure. And I think, what was great about it too is I think everybody in a room learned something. You know,
Mhm.
we even seen, like the VCs, connecting with the small business banker and the CDFI we had there, right? Like, it was a lot of conversations that, you know, you don't hear happen often enough, right? Like you hear these panels and it's more so about their personal stories. Man, we was in there asking the real questions, man. How we get this money? Like, let's
Hmm.
stop playing games. What you need to see,
Right.
what you need to know, like what we need to be thinking about. How should we be navigating these spaces? Um,
Very action oriented, to your point.
yeah,
Super. It wasn't, and no slight to panel discussions in which you have panelists talk a lot about like mindset or personal motivation, because that's
yes,
very important. Because if you don't have that as your foundation, nothing else is going to manifest.
yeah.
However, everybody in that room already had the mindset of I want to build, and so we was asking questions in there such as, what metrics are you looking for when you want to make an investment decision? How do you really navigate these spaces? How do you do X, Y, and Z? And they was given so many gems.
So many,
Shoot, we got the
so
footage. We might have to put it up on the YouTube or some
we
of
gonna
it.
we gonna have to. We gonna have to. Now, look, we definitely gonna do that. One thing I wanted to mention from what they were talking about, uh, they talked about, which I think for newer entrepreneurs, right? For probably, a good bit of, minority entrepreneurs as well, is like understanding how and which VCs to approach, right? Like
Hmm.
VCs have certain theses around, their investing, and like you need to know what's that thesis, right? Like can't just go up to every VC because they may not be investing in what you're offering, right?
Right.
Like it's kind of a vice versa type of thing where it's like you don't want to just take money from somebody that doesn't understand your
Hmm.
industry, right? They need to know what's actually going to make your company successful, because once you get that VC investment, that's like another business partner, that's another co-founder, that's another board member or advisor. You know what I'm saying? Like that's somebody that can positively or negatively impact your business. Um, even if they just quiet in the background, that might negatively impact your business, right? That spot that they put that money in, you could have had somebody out there championing your business.
Making introductions, or
Yeah,
because what we have to remember when it comes to venture capital, it's equity financing, meaning you give up part ownership of your business to them. So they
yeah,
become a business partner, right? So you want to have the right partner.
yeah,
However, I'll be remiss if we don't mention like how this your business banks or your CDFIs are a major player, right? Even if
major.
you do want to go more the startup realm versus the traditional business owner realm, like whichever pathway you make, you need to have a banking relationship and know your banker on a first name basis, because they will plug you in all types of financing. We're talking about from like debt financing when it comes to like getting you lines of credit. We're talking
Yeah,
about grants that they
yeah,
could put you in place with. So the free money, and just like putting you onto like different opportunities. The banker on the panel, she mentioned how, for example, they had events like resources such as free technical libraries that will give you the technical
yeah,
to build up your business, whether that be marketing help or financial modeling, what have you.
yeah.
Or they even have events to like put you on to like free resources, like, oh, free chamber, Black Chamber of Commerce membership, for example, right? So,
Yes, yes. To that point. If you are listening, watching, you see this clip, definitely go ahead, drop a comment, and we will shoot you the link to Bank of America directory that has hundreds of grants. You can go check it out, free to access. We want people to get this game, man. We want people to get this game.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, to your point, uh, I think it was powerful, when she mentioned like how a relationship with a business banker can help you in so many ways that you don't think of, right? Like we think of our banker as somebody we go to get a line of credit or you open your
yeah,
bank account, but they talk to a bunch of people. Your
Mm-hmm.
Small business banker has other small businesses that they can possibly connect you with, right?
Mm-hmm.
They may be, the person you go to that will get you introduced to your mentor or your next deal. Like, don't
Absolutely.
overlook the power of a relationship with your banker. That can be very, very powerful. And I thought that was something, Kaia really just like she opened my eyes, and just it's like, man, it makes a lot of sense. And it's such low hanging fruit, right? It's just a matter of just, it's somebody that you should be talking to on a regular basis. If you're doing what you need to do, they're invested, right? They basically putting money up for you. Of course, they expect you to pay it back, right? It's not equity, but you know, um,
But you
they're
still
gonna
maintain ownership of your business too, right? If you use the debt financing route from a bank, so there's
exactly,
different strategies, man. But
exactly, yeah.
man, fire event
Fire
packed on a Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
Once again, shout out to Bison Venture Partners for being a dope partner to work with. Shout out to CIC Philadelphia for providing us the venue and the space to host it.
Amazing space.
Amazing space. Shout out to the panelists. Shout out to Jim Burnett. Shout out to Kaia Huddy. Shout out to Alex King. And shout out to Pedro Moore. If you don't know,
Yes.
now you know.
Now you know. Now you know. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Man,
Man, got me feeling good. That's a great way to kick off a show, man. Just talking about the Investor Connect, just it's inspiring. It's inspiring.
super. Man, but the people have come for this Web3 game. So it
Okay.
makes sense we get it from Web3, Wayne himself. Kick us
Ooh, ooh. Yeah, coming in hot. Y'all see how Mama just put me on the spot. I'm sorry. NFT and Jai just put me on the spot today.
off.
How, how does that go? He got me messing up his name, fumbling over words. It's that clear skin, man. Let NFT and Jai know we need the skincare routine. We
You
need it.
want you want the real skincare routine?
I need it. What is it?
Drink a lot of water.
Okay.
Be have a really clean diet.
Okay.
Don't be messing with your face with putting all these types of products. All I put
Okay.
is like whatever lotion I'm using and mostly shea butter. That's it.
You heard it here first. Clog up your pores. Put that shea butter on your face. You heard it here first. Your skin is gonna be flawless. And with that, we bring you the first story of this 28th Block to Block episode. The Bored Ape creators, Yuga Labs, is set to launch the Bitcoin NFTs.
Mm.
What? Since when? If you don't know, now you know. And it's crazy because if you don't know, that means you ain't been listening. And that's another reprimand for another day. But as some of you may know, Ordinal protocol has been really popular. We're seeing some projects go crazy on there, and Yuga Labs has decided to step into the Ordinal world. So Yuga Labs said on Monday it's planning to release an NFT collection minted on the Bitcoin-based Ordinals protocol, which has steadily grown in popularity since its launch last month. That's kind of how it goes in this Web3 world. The collection is called TwelveFold, right? And it will feature 300 generative art NFTs created by Yuga Labs, placed on a 12 by 12 grid, which serves as a visual allegory, if you will, for the cartography of data on the Bitcoin blockchain. And it's, they're going to spice it up some, right? So they're going to include some 3D elements, some hand-drawn features. They're going to kind of, keep it creative as Yuga Labs does. And, it's funny because you think of Yuga Labs, you think of course, Bored Ape Yacht Club, or their most recent venture, Dookie Dash. Yes, Dookie Dash.
Ew.
Uh, but but they've been seeing other projects make a lot of money, selling Bitcoin NFTs on Arnos. right? So we saw the Ordinal Punks, right, which sold one of their NFTs for 9.5 Bitcoin. If you don't know how much that is, that's $214,000. Right, exactly. A lot of money. So, you know, in this time where, it's what some people would call a crypto winter,
Hmm.
we're seeing a lot of these projects find creative ways to really make more money. I think Yuga Labs has always been really great about being very business minded about their NFTs and about how they're approaching Web3. Um, especially when you talk about how they've licensed some of the Bored Ape characters and got the restaurants and things like that. Um, and so, one thing that is kind of admirable about them is that they also really focus on the utility piece. But that's not what we're going to see with this project. This is a strictly NFT, strictly art use case for this Bitcoin NFT, right? And you know, for them, it pretty much just like F it. Like we know what y'all are used to us doing, but we're gonna do something different, and that's okay because we like to do different things. And I think that's dope that they're just like being very intentional about how they approach things, and it doesn't have to be what people expect, but definitely I think they're doing things from a strategic standpoint that's really just very thoughtful. And if you're thinking about getting into Web3, something to admire and just watch as well, right? So with that being said, the auction for TwelveFold is going to happen later this week. They've been encouraging a lot of their Ethereum savvy audience to buy Bitcoin wallets ahead of the mint. um, and it's really gonna be a sight to see how how this plays out. How much are they gonna sell their 12-fold NFTs for? And I think kind of one of my big takeaways. I really have two main takeaways from this. So one is we're starting to see that Bitcoin ecosystem
Mm.
catch up to Ethereum a little bit when it comes to activity and NFTs, right? Like, or even just, we talk about layer twos and the impact that may have on Web3 and how we experience Web3. We're seeing that come to play a little bit more with Bitcoin, um, which we know is, I mean, it's really at this point probably one of your safer bets, right? You're going to talk a little bit later about what Gary Gensler came out with, but Bitcoin kind of has dodged and moved through a bit unscathed, and I think that adds a lot of validity and strength to people wanting to get into that ecosystem, right? But at the same time, there's the other piece of it of with the legislation and the negative connotation with Bitcoin mining and crypto mining and the impacts that has on the environment. I'm interested to see, how much more is built out and what does that actually look like, right? I think on one hand, the reason we see a Yuga Lab saying, "Hey, we're not going to do anything utility," we're doing 300, right? Usually it's like 1,000 or 10,000. They say we're going to do 300 of these. Um, it's because you want that scarcity when it comes to Bitcoin, when it
Mm.
comes to that Bitcoin network, because there's probably only so much longer that it's going to, I don't even want to say it's easy, but it's probably going to get considerably more difficult to get into that Bitcoin ecosystem, right? New Bitcoin is released once a block is mined. And, what we've seen from the government and, how they feel about the environmental impacts of mining, miners are shutting down. You know, a lot of people are being reprimanded around it. Uh, you know, we had a segment very early on about how you know, some of those cloud service providers are uh, you know, denying the ability to uh, even stake really. But um, I think it's going to be really interested to see how this all shakes out. Um, Definitely something to keep watch of. You know, we gonna always bring great stories to you and keep you on a loop of what's going on. But with that, thoughts. What are your thoughts about Yuga Labs, Artemis Protocol, and Bitcoin NFTs? This is what, second, third week we've
Hmm.
done. You know, this topic. What do you think?
So, a couple of lessons, right? Lesson number one: when as a business or as an adventure, right? If you're able to master and dominate within your specific niche, you can take that model and replicate it elsewhere, right? And so with Yuga Labs, like, let's remember they have created Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is to this day the largest NFT collection on Ethereum. It's the it's seen as like the golden standard of how you wanted to create an NFT powered community and have like a huge valuation associated with it, right? They've been dominated for so long. And
Yeah,
so for them, they're in a position which they can possibly do the exact same thing on the Bitcoin network, right? So that's like a huge major gem right there. Like when you're able to like really master your niche and master your model, you can
yeah,
replicate that anywhere. So that's one. Two, you know, rewatch episode 24 when we brought up the Bitcoin ordinal NFTs, right? I posed a question about if Bitcoin, as we know, is like the largest network in terms of market capitalization, right? And that was just based off of the strength of cryptocurrency alone. What
hmm,
happens if it becomes a huge haven for NFT projects? Because right now, Ethereum is the largest, and that was really Ethereum's advantage over Bitcoin. Like, hey, it's the biggest DApp ecosystem for decentralized
hmm,
applications, right? For NFTs, DAOs, what have you. But if we're starting to see the Bitcoin network become a haven where NFT projects start to become popping over there, and then we can possibly see, DAOs or all these other technologies that's related to Web3 become
yeah,
present there,
yeah,
what happens to the rest of the entire ecosystem? Because as we already know, when it comes to crypto specifically, everybody follows Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's doing good, the rest of the crypto market's doing good, and
yeah,
vice versa.
yeah,
So those are just my thoughts. Like one, Yuga Labs have positioned themselves in a manner where they're able to like replicate their proven model anywhere. And
yeah,
two, like if you're somebody who's looking to get into the space, especially when it comes to NFTs or just new opportunities in general, consider what's going on in the Bitcoin network.
yeah. It makes a lot of sense. It make a lot of sense. Yeah. Shout out to Yuga Labs. Shout out to some of them gems in there. They kind of showing the rest of the Web3 world how to navigate, how to adjust. You know, how to be flexible. I think even though Web3 is like this new innovative thing, a lot of people kind of stuck in like, oh, we have to do it this kind of way, or
Hmm.
now utility is the thing. We gotta, you know, it's like there's different flavors. You know what I'm saying, of how you can approach things. So definitely, but I think the people need to hear about this other piece of it, right? I mentioned it a little bit about, you know, why Bitcoin is kind of a safe haven right now in the crypto world.
Hmm.
Uh, let the people know.
Right. I'll let you know in this quick take. I'm taking it from Web3 Wayne, and
I'm giving
hopefully,
it to you. Taking it is a strong word.
okay. So I'm commandeering the quick take for today.
See how this man, put out a 3 4 syllable word. Think I don't know what it means. I
Start.
don't, but it probably mean taken. So
But man, so into this today's quick take, we want to talk about Gary Gensler, who is the head of the SEC. he
GG.
reassert, he reasserts his claim that every crypto is a security aside from Bitcoin, and this has erupted the legal community.
Mm.
So, in a recent interview with New York Magazine, Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, reasserted his opinion that all crypto assets and transactions should be subject to the US security laws, aside from spot trading for Bitcoin. And as we know, spot trading is like the practice of buying low and selling high, right? And really, every other token or crypto aside from Bitcoin is a security. So the direct quote is pretty much every sort of crypto transaction already falls under the SEC's jurisdiction, except spot transactions in Bitcoin itself and the actual purchase or sale of goods or services with cryptos. Everything other than Bitcoin. And this has received pushback from the legal community. Jake Shavinsky, who is a part of the Blockchain Association, argued that the SEC lacks the authority to regulate any of them until and unless it proves its case in court for each asset, every single one, individually, one at a time. And so overall, there's no real legal backing on this yet. Within the United States and globally, we're still trying to figure out how do we regulate cryptocurrencies and other crypto assets. But this is the opinion of the chair of the SEC, right? One of the biggest regulatory bodies in the United States when it comes to securities. And so it's very important that we highlight this quick take because it brings in the big lesson that, especially when it comes to innovative spaces, you should always pay attention to the legal and political environment because of the large implications of it all, right? This is something that you talked about in episode 19, Derek, when we talked about what happens if everything gets classified under the SEC and everything is seen as a security, right? It could, okay, well, while on a positive, it would provide a lot more clarity and a lot more structure when it comes to this wild, wild west of Web3, it could unintentionally stifle innovation, right? Because we're seeing a higher cost, right? If you're like right now, you can create some kind of crypto project or NFT project or any type of Web3 project that has like crypto tied to it. However, if it's all deemed as it being a security, you you gotta have a legal team. You just can't do things willy-nilly. And legal counsel relating to security law is definitely not cheap, right? And so, especially in this fast-paced environment on a global level, with all these other countries are trying to figure out exactly how do we classify Web3, how do we regulate it, if we have a set of laws and standards that can be deemed as restrictive on innovation, we can lose the race in terms of using blockchain technology and all its subsequent technologies as innovations to like provide real solutions, especially if we have these high barriers to entry with like governmental regulation. And so it's very interesting, specifically like how Bitcoin is seen as this golden child, right? Like every other security except for Bitcoin is a security. Every other token except for Bitcoin is a security under his opinion, right? So we're talking about well-known tokens like your Ethereums or your ETHs, your Cardano, ADAs, Ripple, all those types of tokens.
Yeah,
Like that's a huge implication right there, man.
this is true.
Very huge. And so it's what's happening in the US is not a microcosm. This is happening on a global level. We talked about this in previous episodes, like I want to say episode 23, was it? When we 23 or 24, when we talked about the World Economic Forum and their opinion related to like Web3.
Yeah.
Different countries are outright outright opponents of crypto and they want to have their CBDCs instead. Other countries are a lot more accepting and want to like see how they can use it as a solution. So it's very important that you as a viewer, where you're someone who's like a business owner, someone who's an investor, or just a consumer, you pay attention to your government's overall attitude when it comes to cryptocurrency and other crypto assets. Because if it's all deemed as securities, you gotta make sure that you're acting in a compliant manner. And that's the quick take for today.
Okay, 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 man. You want to hear something funny?
What's up?
Hear something funny? I I don't know, man. I might be coming around. I might be agreeing with Gary. I don't know. I
Mm,
might be agreeing with the OGGG.
yeah.
GGG might be making a point. Now I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm gonna tell y'all why. You know what's arguably the most important security that's ever been created?
What is it?
The US dollar,
The
right?
reserve currency of the world.
You know what I'm saying? And when we look at like a lot of the cryptocurrencies, that's basically what they are. They are the dollars for those blockchain
Mm,
ecosystems, right? Of that blockchain network. So it's a digital dollar, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of no different than a US dollar or yuan or, uh the
peso,
euro.
or
Right, yeah, peso, right? There's really not much difference. Um, so I don't know, when it comes to it, is like there's part of me that's like, do we want to stifle this innovation? There's another part of me that's like, you know, Dogecoin is cool, but like that shouldn't be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like people putting their money on something that's like not even, it's just so like I don't know. It's really
yeah,
um that's something where you're just like, all right, there needs to be some regulation. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who've lost money who think the same. You know what I'm saying? That
right.
that
And
think somebody.
Gensler's, yeah, and that's part of Gensler's reasoning as well, right? Like a lot of these tokens he purports are just really just finessing investors for money, or not even finessing, but you're really just using it as a vehicle to get investment capital to raise up
Hmm.
valuations and profit from it. That's the
Right,
security at its essence, is the argument. So
right, right.
it's it's very interesting. You see the pros and cons on both sides, and really
Yeah,
we just gotta wait and see what happens from a overall decision standpoint.
for sure, for sure. The other piece of it too, before we hop off over to our last topic, is it's interesting that he's really bought into, you know, Bitcoin as the gold standard. It's not really, in the same ballpark as these other cryptos. Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Could be, looked at that way, but I think at the same time, like, it's still a crypto. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's like, okay, this is interesting. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes for sure. But yeah,
A lot of things happen over in Bitcoin, man. Like who knows
yep,
if Bitcoin can overtake all these other ecosystems with the NFTs and the DAOs and all that. It's already got the crypto part on lock.
yep, yep.
It's already furthering supporting Gensler's opinion, right? So,
Exactly, exactly. No, makes
man,
a lot of sense.
it's very interesting because, as it relates to these technologies, the big thing we want to focus on is innovation, because with innovation, we get new solutions. And with that, we want to talk about Fast Company magazine's top 10 lists of the most innovative companies within Web3. I'll even kick us off with who's on number 10. A personal favorite of mine, I might add, Milk Road. So,
Yes.
Milk Road was started in January of 2022, and you can think of it as the morning brew of crypto. If you're not familiar with Morning Brew, it's a newsletter that emails you the top business topics every single day, and that's what Milk Road does within crypto. It has a
Yeah.
newsletter readership of over a quarter million readers. You know, Derek and I are one of those people. We're into numbers,
Hmm.
and is also cool because they really like to just joke around, right? And make it a less serious topic in a sense, right? So you as a viewer can just see the fun of it all. So like they have like their own wallet in which they will show you the results of their portfolio. And so when things such as like the Luna Terra coin collapse last year, they talked about like how they had a portfolio of over $1 million worth of crypto assets and it fell like completely to like $1 in like a
Yeah,
day. So a very transparent company, very engaging, very fun and upbeat.
yeah,
One of my favorite newsletters to read when it comes to the world of Web3 and crypto. So shout out to Milk Road for being number 10.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Nah, look, I have to agree. Um, and so let's go to number 9. I haven't heard of these guys before, but seems like they're doing some dope stuff. Imperia, they're
Mhm.
building high street retail in the metaverse. Shout out to the metaverse. I feel like we don't give the metaverse enough love on our show.
We need to start to, I mean,
We
we had a whole episode with Jay,
we did.
episode
That's
1,
very true.
watching the
That's
gems.
very true. Yeah, he was giving out the game, and it's crazy because Imperia is kind of like taking that old chip off, the same block, if you will. So what they're doing is they're helping retailers interested in exploring this metaverse landscape, kind of bridge the gap between physical shopping and two-dimensional e-commerce, right?
Mm,
So they have started their Artemis platform, and it's designed for luxury brands to be able to manage product placement in virtual stores, and how users kind of interact in the space, right? And making it easy for them to kind of uh, do that without any real like developer or technical experience, right? So it's really cool because what they're seeing is just the impact that having a metaverse store might have on shoppers. So, right now, the average shopper may spend about 2 minutes on the e-commerce site. I know if I'm, scrolling on Instagram or something like that, and I see some clothes, that I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Let me take a look. I might go on the site, look at a couple things, and I'm off of there, right? But with the metaverse experience added to it, right, they're seeing things go from the 2 minutes for a standard e-commerce site to 14 minutes that
mm,
people spend in the metaverse exploring. It's really just like the next iteration of a mall, right, or of the mall, I should say. Um, so really dope, and they're keeping things kind of playful. They have some alligator helpers, workers, if you will. And, it's just dope what they're doing to help bridge that gap for those retailers. It's number 9.
cool. Really cool. Coming in at number 8, we have Lynx DAO, which is described as the next generation of golf club membership. I know this is a personal favorite of Web3 Wayne because he's an avid golfer.
Yes.
I'm not, but
Yes.
he is. But with Link DAOs, what they do is they allow golf enthusiasts to congregate both virtually and in person via their NFT powered reinvention of the country club membership model. They sold more than 9,000 memberships within 24 hours of first launching and raised more than 11 million in the capital that they gained from their membership model. And they've been doing a lot of things to take strides with providing in real world experiences, such as partnering up with IMG Prestige. So the members of this DAO can have access to a network of more than 200 elite courses throughout the world. So effectively, taking that Timbucktoo model of pairing both the digital and the physical world experiences. So shout out to Links DAO for making number 8 of this list.
Shout out. Shout out. Yeah, I might have to go join that. We're going to see what the membership fee is, but might have to give them a holler. We're talking about taking a golf trip. But with that, let's go to number 7 on the list, and it is DressX. And this company is basically your designer in the metaverse.
Mm.
So they're the go-to courtier for avatars, and really have seen a lot of traction in getting deals from brands like Adidas Originals and American Eagle, um, and scores of 3D designers, wanting to get their clothing, right, the digital clothing on these avatars. A dress, they made a dress to celebrate Ukrainian freedom that cost $1,500. Well, you could pay $1,500, let's say that. But they're really doing some creative things when it comes to that digital world, and even is doing things in augmented reality, right? So if you don't know what that is, or you're not sure, it is again bridging that digital, that physical, where you can try on things with your real body, right? On like an augmented reality mirror, or basically makes it feel like uh, this digital thing is on you in real life. So doing some dope experiences there. They have some dope partnerships, and yeah, Dress X number 7.
Coming in at number 6, we have the Hundreds, which is a streetwear brand that has successfully launched NFT collections since 2021. They first started off with the Atom Bomb Squad, and then recently they came up with the Batman Bomb Squad, right? And with their NFT collections, not only have they, made significant revenue from them, they've effectively curated communities and ushered in both creator and collector royalties. So if you're a collector of like certain um, of if you're a collector, you can benefit from the royalties as well, just as a creator. So a great way to let's really show support for those who patronize them. So shout out to the Hundreds for coming in at number 6.
Fire, fire. And it's dope seeing a company like the Hundreds, step into this new world. Perfect for Web3. Coming in number 5, Ledger. Y'all know about Ledger? That means you need to go get you hardware wallet ASAP, a cold wallet ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Ledger, they are known for building the iPod of crypto wallets, if you will. So what they have done is created a device. Looks like a little USB drive. It's Bluetooth enabled, but you can store your crypto and NFTs in this little device. It is what we call the crypto wallet. And so they have been, really, really doing great in terms of sales. They sold more than 5 million of their Ledger Nano devices, and really are seeing even more successes, and are really looking to the future. They actually brought on Tony Fadell, who is a legendary product creator. He's credited, with the advances of the iPod and Nest thermostat. And so they're working on creating a new credit card sized crypto wallet called Stacks, which sounds dope. Features a touchscreen e-ink display that makes using the device akin to mainstream consumer electronics like the Kindle, of course, iPod. Um, so definitely be on the lookout for that. That Stacks is $279. Start shipping March 2023. This is not an ad, but Ledger, if you would like to sponsor, we'll talk about more of your products. Just let us know. That's number
Cut the
4.
check.
Cut the check. That's number 5.
Coming in at number 4, we talk about them just about almost every other episode. The Ethereum Foundation, the organization that's behind the Ethereum network. So, this group has been very innovative within the world of Web3 by launching in like 2014, 2013, and has successfully become the largest DApp ecosystem within Web3. Ethereum's been making a lot of strides in terms of allowing users to use Web3 in like many innovative ways aside from cryptocurrency, from making NFTs to making DAOs to getting into the metaverse. They really have ushered in a new iteration, a new era when it comes to the world of Web3. So we'll be remiss if they weren't mentioned on this list. So shout out to the Ethereum Foundation, number 4.
Number 3, company we all know well, Nike. Yes, yes, yes. Nike is number 3 on the list, one of the most innovative companies in Web3. And I think a big reason for it coming up is just the tremendous focus and strides that they've made in the Web3 world, such as acquiring startup Artifact, which was focused on creating digital assets for fashion and collectibles. And that really, I'm sure, was part of their Nike Virtual Studios rollout. Where they did a series of drops throughout the year, starting in April 2022. Just they're just doing great things, especially talk about the crypto kicks where you could buy those crypto kicks and get them in real life, and they're doing partnerships around those crypto kicks. And those crypto kicks coming with really exclusive features to them that's just really dope. So Nike has been very innovative when it comes to Web3. And so we definitely think they're going to be leaders going to this next gen.
Coming in at number 2, we have Chainalysis. This company is very famous for bringing in a lot of transparency into crypto transactions. So they have made publicly available blockchain data to identify scams, hacks, crime, and fraud. As we know, and as we covered in like multiple episodes throughout this podcast, you know, cybersecurity is a huge concern, a huge problem area within the world of Web3. And so Chainalysis has been doing their part to be very preventative, if you will, in terms of just identifying scams and like analyzing this data so we can all learn from it. They've been valued at, they had a valuation of $8.6 billion after raising $170 million in capital back in May. And they came out with like different product rollouts, such as the Chainalysis storyline, which they released in last November, that creates a visual timeline of complex crypto transactions. So
Hmm.
shout out to Chainalysis for making number 2 on this list.
Hmm. Number 1. Drum roll, please. Roblox. Roblox, yes, comes in at number 1 on the list of most innovative companies in Web3. How, you might ask? Well, let's just say they have 56 million daily active users in 2022, 23% year over year, with 17 to 24-year olds being their fastest growing age group. On top of that, the company is really, really, really pushing forward in terms of Roblox being a staple, if you will, on the more adult side of the world. So they introduce age guideline systems similar to movies and video game ratings, and really want more mature experiences to be developed on their platform. And we're already seeing brands and celebrities from Walmart to Elton John to the NFL really, declare, oh, we're in the metaverse. And a lot of times that means they're on Roblox. And I
Mm,
mean, listen, Roblox has been so successful that, they already have a really, really, really real digital economy with creators of games and virtual goods earning more than $624 million in 2022. And that's up almost 20% from the previous year, 2021. So Roblox, shout out. They're number one. They topped the list, and for very, very good reasons. With
Yeah.
that, that's the top 10.
Top 10 according to Fast Company magazine, man.
Top
That
five.
was a very, very solid list.
Yeah, yeah. I have no qualms. I have no qualms.
Yeah.
Oh,
Major goes to be number one of that list with Timbucktoo,
yes,
which is
sir.
our collectibles marketplace
Yes,
that
sir.
allows creators to monetize in perpetuity from their physical collectibles that they make. So
So we
we
gotta
don't
we gotta we gotta go. Our creators need to make over 650 million. We won't beat them by 25.
mm,
650 million. So if you're a creator, you trying to be in that bucket. You know what I'm saying? That 650 mil. You trying to get on that. Let us know. We
let
trying to
us know,
put you
let us
on.
know,
We
man.
don't do that no royalty thing.
Mm-hmm. Royalties in perpetuity. And in
Yeah.
fact, we do have some things coming up. We had to postpone the pain and stuff for unforeseen circumstances, but it will be happening April 8th in DC. So you'll get more details around that as we get closer to that. But man, like we're we finna go crazy. We got a lot more events planned for the year.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's gonna be a great year. We told y'all it was gonna be outside. It started with our event that we had, the gathering spot exclusive event. Um, you know, we're gonna try to do some more for the people. We had to have that exclusive one over there at TGS, and kind of followed up with the Investor Connect, which was another great event. We was able to get outside in Philly and tap into our people, our community, the entrepreneur community, get some game out there, learn some game ourselves. Like,
Hmm.
real life. Selfishly, we wanted to put on this event to get this game from VCs and other financial institutions, banks, CDFIs. So yeah, man, we outside. It's only the beginning. Y'all definitely be on the lookout for more events because it's coming soon, and we're gonna do it big. We need y'all to show up and show out.
Most definitely. And on a more serious note, shout out to all the Pisces. It's Pisces season.
Hello. Brr, brr, brr. If y'all did not know, Mama Dude, NFT and Jives, which y'all know him as, had his birthday yesterday. The
Thank you.
young man just made, what is it, 25, my boy?
29, 29.
Ooh,
Wow.
touching 30. Touching 30.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Getting wise, getting wise.
Yes,
And
sir.
you have a birthday coming up next month,
We got to tell people all that. We got to tell people all
right?
that. We got
But it is going to be on a Thursday, so
to turn up. Turn up. Hey man, I remember when I made 27 last year. The first thing my little sister said is like, "Ooh, you touching 30." I'm like, "Dang, like give me another year or so before you tell me that." Like,
you got a solid. You got a little bit of time. You don't got to worry. You ain't got no grays in that beard yet.
yeah, not yet, not yet. So we gonna see. We
Most
gonna see.
definitely, most definitely. But man, this was an action-packed episode per usual. Thank you all for tuning in at episode 28. I am the birthday boy, the belated birthday boy, NFT and Jai.
And I am the birthday boy in like a month. Web3 Wayne.
Man, peace.
Talk is different.
Always like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your loved ones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.